In this video I want to talk about HTML5 semantic elements. A semantic element clearly describes its meaning to both the browser and the developer. Specifically, I want to discuss the semantic elements that are used to lay out a web page, that is, header, nav, section, article, aside, footer, main and details. On the right hand side of this slide you can see how they are used on a web page. I'm going to create a blog, or rather just enough of a blog, to demonstrate these elements. I'm going to use some CSS, but it's only to make it look tidy. The thing I want to teach is the HTML5 semantic element. So let's get started. I've already got a page with a link to a style sheet, and there's a link to a script file, but we won't actually be using any JavaScript in this tutorial, just HTML and CSS. I'll close that so there's more room. So to start with, I'm going to create a container, and inside that I'm going to create a header, an h1 with main page, and I'm going to give the header a class of main header, and then underneath here a link with an a tag, and it's going to have a href equal to, and that's going to go to the blog.html, which I'm going to create later, and go to blog. Now below here I'm going to create a main with a class of main middle. In here I'm going to create a section, and then inside here I'm going to create an article with a class post, and then a h3 first blog post, and then here I'm going to use a small tag. This will make the writing small. Posted by Lawrence on the 7th of July 2023. And then here is going to be a p tag, and I'm going to create some lorem ipsum. Just type lorem and then the tab key, and that gives me my lorem ipsum. And below the p tag I'm going to create another tag for the readme, which is href equals post.html, and then read more, so that's our first blog. It doesn't look very good because we haven't got any CSS at the moment. So I'll take this article and I'll copy it down a couple of times. So we've got a few more, and make this the second blog post posted on the 14th of July. We'll make this 21st. That's the third blog. I'll save that. And below the section, I'm going to create an aside. And H3 with categories as a title, the subheading. And then I'm going to create a nav tag, and in here I'm going to create an unordered list. Li, and inside here a link, a href. It's not actually going to go anywhere, just to put a hash there. Category 1. And I'll copy that down a couple of times. Make this category 2 and this category 3. It doesn't go to the aside because I need CSS to make it do that. And then below the main, I'm going to create footer with a class main footer, and another p tag, and here we're going to have a copyright dash copy. That should give me my copy symbol 2023, my website. Okay, so that and copy and then semicolon gives you this copyright symbol here. So on to the styling. I'm going to start by setting box sizing to border box everywhere. I have a later video that explains box sizing, but for now just say that it helps with the sizing on the page. I'm going to create an asterisk, that means everywhere, and then box sizing is border box. Also, I'm going to set the HTML and body elements with a margin and padding of 0. This is so we don't get surprises where our page works in one browser but not in another. So that's HTML, body, margin 0 and padding 0. You will remember I set a surrounding div with the class of container on the main page. So if I go back to here, container. So if I copy that, then dot container. I'm going to select the container display to flex. If I save that, it's made the page go a bit funny. I can get over that, get it back to normal by setting display, so that's setting flex direction to column. So now it's gone back to where it was. Setting it to display flex rather than the default, which is block, is much more flexible. It's much more easier to work with. I'm going to set the height to 100 VH. That's 100 vertical height. So it takes up the full page. It doesn't look like the container is taking up the full height of the page. But if I set background to pink, you can see that it does. I'll delete that. The next bit of CSS I want to do is for this main header and the footer. I gave it a CSS class of main header and main footer. So if I copy that, main header, so it's dot main header, now put a comma, so I want the main footer as well. See, so this will work on both the footer and the header. So here I'm going to set display to flex again, and then I'm going to justify content to center. That's centered it there and there. And now align items center as well. So that will center it vertically inside the header and the footer. And then background color is black, and color is white, and height is 10 vertical height, like so. When I expand the page, it stretches out quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the max width to 1200 px, and I'm going to set the margin to 0 auto. This will mean that when the page expands, it will expand up to 1200 pixels, and the margin 0 auto will mean you automatically have the margin set in the horizontal direction, and in the vertical direction, which is the 0, it will be set to 0. So if I expand that, hold on, save it first. If I expand that, see now it goes in the middle and it has a max width. It's still stretched out quite a bit, but we'll do some more CSS to get that a bit nicer. So next I want to concentrate on this middle section here. So I'm going to go back to the index.html and get this main middle class, and dot main middle, and then I'm going to set some padding to 20 px so that it's not jammed against the side here. Like so. And then I'm going to set display to flex again, and I'm going to set a column gap, which you see now I've set it to display. You've got this category on the side, which is what we want. So column gap is going to be 20 px, so that'll set a gap between here and here. And then flex direction is row, so that won't change it, and the height is 80 VH. So now the footer goes to the bottom of the page and the main at the top. So next I want to set the section. So section tag, and display is flex again, and flex direction is column. And justify content is space between with a width of 70%. So now the blogs are more spaced out. I'm going to set the aside to a width of 30%. Right. Is it bigger? So next I want to get rid of this underline under the links. So I'm going to set A and set text decoration to none. And now the underline's gone. And also I want to get rid of these bullet points. So I'm going to set UL list style type is none. Now the bullet points have gone. So next I'm going to create another page called blog.html, and I'm going to copy the index.html, paste it into here, into the blog.html, and then where it says main page, I'm going to put this to blog page, and instead of go to blog, I go to main, and this is just going to be a /. So now if I click on go to blog, I go to the blog page, and if I click on go to main, I go to the main page. So next I want to make the blog page look more like a blog page, so I'm going to put an image in it. So I'm going to create a folder, call it images, and then I've got an image of two dogs that I'm going to use as an image. So I drag that over. So now on the blog page, inside where this article is, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to replace it with image img source equals images / dogs jpg alt equals 2 dogs walking. Close this to give me more room. Go to the blog page. So now we've got an image there, but at the moment it covers over the category. So I'll go to the styles.css, and just here I'll put img tag, and then width is 300 px, and now it's smaller. So going back to the blog page, I'm going to take this p tag, and I'm going to copy it down a couple of times. And just make this, call this just blog post, and then for the next article I'm just going to delete that. Like so. So it's more like a blog post now. I want to expand the page. It doesn't look so good. I don't want to do too much with the CSS, but I can use a media query to make this image look a bit bigger. So what I'll do, that back. Now I'll go to the styles.css, and here I'm going to go at media only only screen and min width. I'm going to set the media query to a min width of 1000 pixels. So anything I put in this media query will only happen if the screen size is more than 1000 pixels. Inside the media query, I'm going to set the image size to 600 pixels. So now at the smaller screen it stays the same, but when I expand it you get a larger image. I could do other media queries to make it look even better, but I think I'll leave it there because this is about HTML and not about CSS. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more.